A new report claims that Ezra Miller is returning to the world of sanity after just going off on drunken binges, threatening people, stealing into people's homes, robbing them. But we do have a new report now claiming that he has abandoned the fictional use of referring to himself in the plural, using quote unquote they, them pronouns to refer to him as a singular person. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. With that out of the way, let's get into this here. This comes from World of Real, Jordan Rumi. I'm not sure how to say his name there, but he reports Ezra Miller is now back to he, him. Word on the street is that Ezra Miller has decided to drop his they, them pronouns and wants to simply be referred to as he, him. Ever since the Flash bombed in the summer, there hasn't been much news about Miller. He's supposedly now in an entourage with Hebrew rapper Modest Yahoo and has been spending a lot of time at his Vermont-based goat farm, keeping it low key. I wish him the best of luck on this new path in life, is what Rumi says. I think this is a win. This is a huge win. I think we don't need people like Ezra Miller, massive celebrities that do have followings, no matter how kind of crazy, whacked out their lives have been over the past year or a couple years. So it's good to see that he is returning to the world of sanity and getting rid of these they them pronouns that he was referring to himself of. This stuff is a lie. It pushes the big lie that a man can become a woman or a woman can become a man, and it also tries to put the individual person above God who created us, rejecting our own nature that God made us. So this is really good to see this. I'm glad that this is happening, and it also really kind of removes him from a potential really downward spiral that he could be in. If we look at this here, this is from Archbishop Sample out in Portland. Real quick, let me bring it up. He wrote this guide here called "A Catholic Response to Gender," the gender identity issue. What was it? Let me see here. What is it called? A Catholic response to gender identity theory. And so he goes on, obviously teaches, talks about a lot of how the church views the human person, the human soul, et cetera, et cetera. But there's this really interesting part here. Well, all of the document is frankly, really interesting. But this part here, I think, is really key. And he says, to some, supporting aspects of social transition may seem benign, even humane, such as using someone's preferred pronouns and actively affirming his or her perceived gender. However, while well-intentioned, this kind of endorsement may help shepherd a young person on a path of unnecessary medicalization. Social transition is often the first step toward hormones and surgery. A 2020 survey of transgender and non-binary youth found that 64% of respondents were either already receiving cross-sex hormones or desired to do so. Danish researchers who first used puberty blockers on gender dysphoric children found that social transition increased the likelihood that dysphoria would persist and result in medicalization. Social transition can also include practices such as breast binding and genital tucking, both of which have been shown to have adverse effects on physical health, like testicular torsion and reduced fertility in males, and abnormal lung function and back pain in females. So it is really, really good that Ezra Miller has decided to not use these they them pronouns and instead is actually referring to himself as a male, because that is indeed what he is. Because as we've seen, it is a slippery slope. It does exist. It leads to all this. We have the evidence of it. And it's really good that he's not doing that. And we need to encourage him to kind of stay on this path of sanity. And I hope it's actually a legitimate path that he is on, and it's not just kind of trying to do it to salvage his image in the press and in the media and at the public in the public at large. So I really do hope this is a true transformation, and he is now rejecting this stuff, and it will lead others to reject it as well, instead of leading them down this evil path of transgender ideology that he was clearly leading people down through his example. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below, and remember to always be charitable.